I had an opening bit written down in my mythical Google Doc, but I don't like the opening bit that I came up with, and I think that was like a temp thing anyway. So I'm just gonna ask you a question that the episode itself poses, but never really addresses. What's a pig?
Well, a pig is a different thing depending on who you ask, I think. It's an animal that lives in the wild, has a snout and oinks, and is also very delicious food. Pig to some other people might mean something totally different. Like it could be a stick that you find in the mud in a swamp, or it could be a car that passes by that sort of looks like a pig, or it could not look like a pig. A pig can really be anything you make of it.
Those are the examples you came up with when thinking of other definitions for pig? I have never heard either of those in my life.
This is what happens when you don't do a podcast for like years and years and years, and instead just subsist on cleaning out your pantry of backlog.
You learned some kind of weird colloquialism for the word pig that no one else in the world has ever used?
I'm a trailblazer, Mary. I like to come up with these things just in my spare time.
Wait, did you actually come up with that, or is that a thing that people say? Because I've never heard either of those.
There's a reason for that. It's because I just made it up on the spot.
I am asking you for information. I am trying to learn about this concept of pig. And you are feeding me lies.
I'm not the person to feed you information. Really, that's what you're supposed to do for me. It's almost like we've forgotten our entire dynamic after so long of not recording a podcast.
I cannot believe you have put me in this role where I'm supposed to educate you about, like, life itself. I am the arbiter of knowledge for this specific thing, for this show. I'm not the arbiter of knowledge for all other things. You cannot be going through this world thinking that a pig is another word for a stick.
I was brought forth expectations that have not been met. And your cat agrees with me.
My cat
Your cat is on my side.
Because she's running away. I got a kitten in the interim since we recorded last. She's a little menace.
And I no longer have dyed hair.
That's true. It's going to take some getting used to. Welcome to Into the Falls, a Gravity Falls podcast. I'm Mary, and I know lots of things.
I'm AJ, and I know nothing.
This is a podcast where I guide AJ through the wonderful weirdness of Gravity Falls, my favorite show that he has never seen.
If you're a new arrival like me, or looking to relive some crazy summer memories, come with us, and let's dive into the falls.
This is Gravity Falls Season 1, Episode 18, Land Before Swine. We are finally back in it. AJ, what did you think?
I had a great time watching this episode. There were lots of different things that sort of reacquainted me with the show, where I was like, oh, I remember that. Oh, this feels familiar. Oh, I'm really back in it now. This was definitely a fun one to watch, and I'm sure many listeners have heard me say that multiple times, but I guess that's just a testament to how great this show is, that I can go into each one and be like, oh, this was great. Oh, this was great.
Well, you keep saying it was a fun one to watch because they're all fun ones to watch. And this one especially, this is one of my favorites. Like, it's probably my favorite of Season 1.
I think it's up there for me, too. It just has all of the great elements that make a Gravity Falls episode fun to watch, like I've said. Starting with, immediately, our two favorite gay cops.
Yeah, literally my first note is gay, with like a bunch of A's and a bunch of Y's. And I can say that because I'm gay, so don't worry about me like making a joke of gay people. I am a joke of a gay person.
Ha! Gay!
We haven't done this in so long that I forgot you're gay.
You forgot?
That was a joke. That was a joke.
I couldn't tell for a second. That poor kid who pissed himself on the tram tour. I didn't even write a note about that. I just remembered it.
Could I go to the bathroom?
Save all questions until after the tour.
Oh.
just looks so sad about it.
I think Stan strategically placed that bump so that the kids that didn't use the bathroom before the grand tour would learn their lesson.
But then he has to clean up the pee,
terms.
or he has to dispatch someone to clean up the pee, and then that person can't be, like, doing work around the shack. I mean, I guess he sent Dipper to go clean up barf off the ground, which, like, how do you clean up barf off of, like, dirt?
I don't know.
But I hope I never have to learn.
I have learned, and it's very unfortunate.
Oh.
We were talking about how the cops were likely going to have sex in their new convertible.
Well, we didn't say that in so many words, but probably. I mean, they go for a ride in their new convertible. Who's to say where they parked? Maybe they parked at Lookout Point.
That is probably where they went to.
That's where they went. And it's like late enough that there are no kids there. There's no like teenagers there trying to make out. So they're like, our turn. And also, if teenagers do show up, they're going to see the cop car and they're going to be like, oh shit. They're going to turn around.
So anyway, back to that kid who peed his pants on Stan's trolley cart.
We're just going to keep talking about that kid who peed himself. What about him?
Imagine Stan doing the tour of Universal Studios.
I can't imagine him being hired to do the tour. I can only imagine him commandeering the tour with no one's authorization and just giving everyone information that's completely wrong. He's going to tell them that the Psycho House is actually inhabited by a cult of wizards.
They'd pass by the DeLorean used in Back to the Future, and he'd be like, I actually went back in time once in that.
I actually knocked out a cop with one of those doors that opens up. I don't remember if he died.
Mabel and Waddles are having a good time.
They're having a great
all this is going on. I kind of like that line from Stan when he comes back, and I forget what the line was, but the note I wrote down was, there are people we put outside, and they're called campers.
Well, we don't put them outside. They're there by choice.
No! Uncle Stan! It's not safe for Waddles outside. There's predators and barbecuers.
That's just the natural order. It's not my fault your pig's potentially delicious.
Pigs, in general, very, very delicious. But Waddles is not the kind of pig we put in that classification.
No, because we've given him a name, and we've personified him, and therefore we can't eat him.
He has his own matching sweater knitted by Mabel, and matching slatted sunglasses, which, by the way, is so 2013.
They don't hit you over the head with it, but there are a lot of little things that are very 2013. Seuss yelling bros before dinos is like a riff on bros before hoes. Mabel also, after Waddles gets taken, and she immediately just rocks up on her bike, and she asks where he is, and everybody just stares at her. She goes, oh, awkward silence. We were saying awkward silence all the time in the 2010s.
Oh, whoa. Awkward silence. Wah!
That was just everyone's go-to joke.
Yeah, we definitely were.
And it made me think of that South Park episode called Funny Bot, and I haven't seen it in forever. This is like the only joke I remember from that episode is just that they built a robot that's designed to be like the master of comedy, but the only punchline it ever gives is just it pausing and then saying, awkward. And it's also designed like a Dalek from Doctor Who. I specify that I don't remember any other jokes from that episode because I don't know if it's one of the more egregiously offensive ones because I haven't seen it since I was like 13.
If it's South Park, it's like easy to say that it's egregiously offensive.
Yeah, but some more than others and
does.
Some very much on the wrong side of things.
The ensuing trope of, oh no, we screwed up. We can't let the person we gave our trust to that we screwed up, so we gotta lie about it and make this big elaborate story. That's one of my favorite tropes in children's animation, and I say that pretty sarcastically.
Do you think it works in this episode?
I guess it kind of works because one factor, I guess, that lends it to working is, of course, Stan's little story, his little lie about how Waddles actually got stolen. I mean, there's a little bit of truth to it, and that Waddles still got stolen, but I mean, Stan is ripped. That pterodactyl is ripped. By the way, I think somebody on the Gravity Falls crew was a furry, because I think that's the only way that a pterodactyl can have that many muscles on it.
Would that be a furry or would that be a scaly?
Definitely scaly, but it's all under the same
Well, it depends on what
so.
theory you ascribe to with dinosaurs. Did they have fur? Did they have feathers? Probably feathers, but you know.
Some had feathers, definitely.
Yeah, I think it works because we know Stan is this very quick-witted, like, con man type. So he would be the person to do this, to immediately come up with this elaborate story that paints him as the good guy who has, like, no fault whatsoever. I'm just now thinking of this. It doesn't make sense that he tells them the pterodactyl, like, swooped in through the roof because the roof is completely intact.
Yeah, if the cop's car is any indication, that pterodactyl would have stolen the entire roof off of the Mystery Shack.
Yeah. Also, the muscles that they draw on Stan are just... It's to a comical effect, but they're just grotesque. I don't like looking at them.
Definitely. It reminds me of Skips from Regular Show.
Oh.
It's kind of the way they drew him.
Yeah, I can see that.
By the way, also a very big thing in 2013.
Oh, yes. Yes, very 2010s. Before I forget, I should say when we talk about Stan, like, making up that story, I want to drop in this song from Larry Boy and the Fib from Outer Space where Junior Asparagus is singing about how Laura's the one who broke his dad's plate.
Huh.
It's Laura's fault, she broke the plate, it's true. And that's the tale I have to tell to you.
Where'd that guy get 10 babies?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're the babies they used for
Robbie
baby
Renzabi.
fights. Obviously. Well, Bobby
I was
Renzabi
like,
wasn't the
called-
one holding all the babies. He was just informing this guy about the Huggy Wuggy Tummy Bundle. Then that guy could hold 10 babies because they had them on set from baby fights.
Someone ought to call John and Kate and their +8 to get the baby wubby tummy rumbler.
Hi, I'm Bobby Renzabi, and what you need is the Huggy Wuggy Tummy Bundle.
I could hold 10 babies at once.
Whatever it's
But
called.
they've been divorced for
By the
like
way,
15
another very
years.
2010s thing, John and Kate +8.
They got divorced in like 2009. I don't think that makes the cut.
I think I rewound that ad the first time like a couple of times because I was like, oh my god, that voice sounds so familiar. Who's voicing Robbie Renzabi? And then I saw the end credits, and I think I have a guess. Mm-hmm. Justin Roiland.
Alcoholism.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
We didn't know back then.
And when he goes, it works on pigs!
Works on pigs!
It works for pigs!
It works for pigs!
It just, that was so fucking funny.
Hey,
and it brought
hey,
me back to the
hey.
freaking, the game show host a few years back.
Hey.
Yeah?
When Pennywise the clown takes a job as a receptionist for a police station, and one of the kids in the Losers Club finds out about it, and they have to tell all their friends. They run into the room and they scream, "It works for pigs!"
Does that seriously happen in it?
No. That's just the scenario I came up with to justify it works for pigs. I wish that happened in it.
Because if any movie deserves a bit of comic relief, it's it.
Well, it has comic relief. It's pretty funny.
I haven't seen it.
It's pretty funny. I haven't seen the miniseries. I don't know if that's funny. I know
have to share
that
this
John
note that I
Ritter is
wrote.
in it, who's the father of Jason Ritter, who's the voice of Dipper. It all comes
Yeah.
together.
I have to share this note that I wrote, just briefly going back to the advertisement, because it made me think of the game show host of
Cash Wheel?
when Stan is on that game show,
Cash
like
Wheel.
a few episodes back. Who?
Cash Wheel.
Cash Wheel. Yeah. So I just wrote down, Gene, it works for pigs.
Gene? Was that the host's name? Did I forget?
When he was like, Gene, tell them what they've won.
Gene, tell them what they want!
Oh, yeah. Well, no, that's from the Looney Tunes show. That wasn't on this show.
Any time is a good time to bring that back up,
That's
even if
one
it
of the
didn't
best
happen in this
deliveries
show.
I've ever heard in a cartoon.
Don't you know we get off sidetracked?
Well, we didn't.
We get off sidetracked.
We get off. We get off. Ew.
Awkward!
I didn't have anything to do with that. That was all you.
You said it.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. What?
I was trying to say we get off track But then I got mixed up with sidetracked, which kind of means the same thing.
That does not
So
mean that
like,
you didn't
we
say
get
it.
off sidetracked.
That doesn't mean that you didn't say it. You don't get to just say, no, I didn't say that. You
I
can say
control
I
my
didn't
own
mean
narrative.
it that way, but you can't say, no, I never said that. You sound crazy right now. Imagine trying to gaslight me while we're both recording this conversation.
My new role, I can't be the person that knows nothing in season 2, so I'm just going to become the gaslighter.
You know one thing at a time. Why is that what you jumped to? You're like, I no longer know nothing. I am now a master at emotional manipulation.
I don't know. Can we just move on, please?
Sure.
Something I want to talk about at this point. Is this the first time the mystery crew have ever gone on an adventure together?
Including Stan, yes.
Yeah, because we have Stan, Dipper and Mabel, and Seuss all going on an adventure together. I don't count Old Man McGucket as part of the mystery crew, but he's there as well.
He's there. He kissed a raccoon.
Yes, hello, ASPCA. Hi, I was wondering, who do I call if I know an adult man who fucks raccoons? Oh, that's what 311 is for? Oh.
And they find Old Man McGucket at a church, this church ruin in the middle of the woods.
Even though he's
So,
not a
of course,
godly
the note-
man because he's kissing raccoons.
The band 311 called me and said I can't fuck raccoons anymore.
I don't know. I wrote down in my notes, McGucket is definitely a Christian.
I thought you were going to say McGucket is definitely God. Maybe he is. We don't
Well,
know at this point.
The jury's still out on that point.
Yeah. I find it interesting that they designed a church background to be used for this episode when they didn't really need to, and it definitely made things more expensive. And they already brought in James Baxter to do a scene, so it was probably expensive
I know,
enough.
right?
Did you catch that?
I was looking in the credits and I saw, James Baxter? What did he do, I wonder?
I never knew that he was on this episode until I listened to the audio commentary when I got the Blu-ray, and they said, like, the boards for the pterodactyl chase were just so good and so beyond anything that they had done to that point that they needed to bring in James Baxter, who is just a master of that fluid 2D animation we mentioned. I was a guest on the Mystery Shack Look Back podcast on this episode, and we talked about him a little bit. Though they probably had more of a background. I haven't re-listened to that episode in a while, but if you watch Steven Universe, the last episode of like Steven Universe proper, there's a scene in it that when I watched it for the first time, I'm like, that's James Baxter, right? And then was later confirmed it was James Baxter. And I won't spoil it. I say this in the Mystery Shack Look Back episode as well. I won't spoil it, but if you've seen the episode, you will know which part is James Baxter. Really, if you watch anything with James Baxter.
I think I've actually seen that clip on Tumblr, and I don't really have any plans to watch Steven Universe or Steven Universe Future, but just like Gravity Falls, I had friends who were always yelling about the show on Tumblr, and I saw that clip, and it was extremely fluid. A lot of painstaking work went into that, and it's like the kind of thing that only James Baxter can do.
Yeah. And he'll do it on a TV budget. He doesn't give a fuck. He's like, I want to make this smooth as hell. I don't care if it makes everything more expensive. So the title of this episode is Land Before Swine, which is a riff on Land Before Time, but also maybe a riff on Pearls Before Swine, but the episode is like kind of a riff on Jurassic Park, partially.
Definitely noted that when Stan was walking through that big cavern with all the amber sap-coated dinosaurs just chilling there, frozen in time.
I like that it wasn't, like, we do see a mosquito trapped in amber, but we don't, that's not like in Jurassic Park where that's where they get the DNA. It's just the entire living dinosaur was encased in it. I think the show was still in season 1 when I was watching this episode on repeat. I don't think I watched it when it first aired, but I watched it on demand a lot. And to this day, I cannot read the word pterodactyl without pronouncing the P in my head.
I mean, Seuss's confusion is very real. Whoever decided to originally spell it like that, put the P there, I'm pretty sure they had to be aware that they were going to cause regular Joe's confusion.
Yeah.
But yet they did it anyway. By the way, Seuss is just me sometimes. I'm a bit of a clumsy individual, and I don't know if I have a depth of field problem, but I have I do things sometimes that people with depth of field problems do. Like, almost run myself over. Like, that's just a thing that happens sometimes.
A couple of years ago, I was decorating my parents' old house for Christmas, and I was putting lights up over the garage. So I'm on the ladder, and I was frustrated about something, so I wasn't fully focused on the task at hand. But I had headphones on, I was listening to a podcast, I hammered in a nail to hang the lights on, and then I climbed down, and I'm moving the ladder to go to like the next spot where I could hammer it. And I forget that I put the hammer at the top of the ladder, so it falls off onto the driveway in the opposite direction of me. I just kind of looked at it for a second, and I'm like, I could have fucking bashed my own head in just now, because I forgot that an entire hammer was there. And I just moved this giant ladder wobbling out. Oh my God. And I told no one until, like, it had already been years, because I knew if I, like, went inside and was like, the weirdest thing just happened, my parents would have, like, freaked out and been like, you can't use the tools anymore.
You gotta denote a time when the statute of limitations is up, and
it's just funny
and
now.
so people can just laugh about it. Yeah, definitely.
When Seuss hits the fairy with a fly swatter and says,
Look, a fairy!
Oh, sorry, dude. I killed that fairy.
I wrote down Seuss commits a homophobic hate crime.
I'm so glad we both had the same thought
Seuss
through our heads.
is so
I was
nice
like,
and so amiable and so cheerful
Seuss
and
killed the
positive
fairy.
and other synonyms for nice and happy, but he just hates gay people so much. It just doesn't come up very often.
Specifically the gay people
they don't
that
know.
fly around in little tutus and have magical power. Because we all know that's a specific subset of gay people.
Yeah. I don't know what they're called, but
don't
because
know.
I was
Maybe the internet
thinking
can
of
tell
like
us
this
later.
TikTok I saw where it's a scene from Supernatural taken out of context, and the caption is like, man is arrested for being homophobic. And it's like one of the Winchester brothers is like being put in a cop car, and he's screaming at the other one like, kill the fairies! Kill the fairies! So I'm assuming they're talking about literal fairies in the context of the episode, and the fairies are like somehow evil or dangerous. But that's all I saw, and that was like the funniest thing in the world to me. Was he's getting arrested for being homophobic.
I want to bring up, what do you think was worse? Seuss killing that fairy, or not making sure that window was secured properly, or ruining the pictures that he and Dipper took together?
Well, the fairy thing is the only one that killed a living creature, so I'm gonna go with that. The photo thing was just unnecessary because he walks in and he says, who wants victory nachos, only to immediately reveal that he's eaten them all. So he just walked in with an empty bowl and offered Dipper food that was not in the bowl, knowingly.
I think he just temporarily forgot that
Oh,
he
that's
had
true.
eaten
He might
them
have a
and
very,
was-
very short attention span. And he's like, what was I doing?
think it's
Oh, right, I
definitely
made
plausible.
nachos. Who wants nachos? Oh, wait, I ate them. Crap. Oh, well. Why is Dipper still using film that needs to be developed? I think we were past that by 2013.
I think he just really, really cares about the photographic quality of capturing this pterodactyl on film. So he really wants to create something that will be preserved and shown around museums for eons from now, even well past his interest in photography. I'm just really on the ball with my pronunciation.
Look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh.
Hi, I'm Bobby Renzabi. Haven't seen you in a bit. After yelling too much in my last ad for the slop chap, the chap's made of slop, I underwent vocal reconstruction surgery and received many hours of therapy. Now I'm ready to begin the new phase of my career, selling products with ASMR. No more Screamin' Bobby, as the memes online have dubbed me. I'm past that. I have overcome the urges. Anyway, I've paid for time on this little podcast to tell you about my new service. Lie GPT, the AI that generates lies. You ever put your niece's pet outside and now a wild beast pet-napped it? You ever broke your dad's bowling plate and need a cover story? You don't have to think of it yourself anymore. We've trained our AI on middle schoolers, PR writers, and politicians to craft you the best lies. You only gotta tell the truth to Lie GPT, and its lips are sealed. It works on people, dogs, vegetables, hedgehogs, regular hogs, road hogs, and get this, it even works for... Sorry, got a hog in my throat. As I was saying, it works. No. Don't scream, Bobby. No, remember therapy. Remember, you can do it. Strength. It works. Fuck. Strength. Oh, forget this! It works for pigs! Yeah, it does, stupid! Well, back to square one. Thank you, Into the Falls, for your business. This ad was fake. Don't fall for it. I gotta go. Definitely one of my favorite moments. Going back to when Stan's exploring the amber-covered dinosaur statues, and he's like, he says something very incriminating, and Mabel's just like, wait, what did you just say? And I wrote down, someone get Candace, because he is busted.
Oh, play the song. Busted. Something that's always stuck out to me about this episode is Mabel's reaction to first finding out that Waddles has been taken and then finding out that Stan lied. Something about it feels very real to me, just like the panic and the tears and the very childlike way of reacting to this news, of immediately going into panic mode and just freaking out and crying and just being a child. Like, this really drives home that they are children, despite everything they've been able to do.
And despite Dipper sounding like a 17-year-old. Which, by the way, it's another note I wrote down. Is this the first Disney show where they have the 12-year-old sound 17?
I doubt it.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie do not sound 12 or 11.
I don't know. In my head, they do, just because I'm so used to those voices at this point. So this really, like, cements Mabel and Stan's relationship beyond being like foils to each other. I think this is the first time we've really hit it home that they like each other. They enjoy being around each other.
It was very, very good to see that kind of progression in their relationship, especially after Mabel's little thing where she's very briefly stopped talking to him, and I just wrote down, did Seuss or Old Man McGucket say, Mabel's gone deaf with fear?
That is one of my favorite jokes in the entire series.
Oh, is someone speaking? Because I can't hear anything!
Oh no! She's gone deaf with fear!
Thinking that she literally cannot hear, or as if going deaf with fear is like a thing. I guess you could tune out things
I wrote down, she's gone deaf with petty.
Oh, true. Can we really call it petty if she's a child and she's reacting the way a child would? Even if it is objectively petty. It's not a petty conflict. Or maybe it is a petty conflict because he lost her pet.
He lost her pet and then lied about it. But then also he kind of fulfilled the lie later on because at the end he did rescue Waddles and did punch the pterodactyl in the face.
He redeemed himself.
So is it really still a lie if you end up redeeming yourself and fulfill the lie in the end?
Yes. That does not retroactively make it true to begin with. Because when she asks him what happened and he tells that story, he's saying this is what just happened. Just because it then happens later, that does not make it true that it happened before. Like, if you go into a job interview and you say, yeah, I have 5 years of experience, and you have no experience, but then you work at that job for 5 years, you can't say, like, oh, I actually lied in the job interview, but now it's not a lie, because I do have 5 years of experience.
In that case, you just continue to say you have 5 years experience, as if it was
that
always
number
true.
Never moves. I love that they find rocks that are shaped exactly like them to hide behind.
I didn't think of it all as weird.
I don't think I noticed it for a while, but I also love Seuss hearing this plan of him being used as a human sacrifice and just like, yeah, let's do it.
How's about Mabel knit Zeus a pig costume?
I like it.
And we use Zeus as a human sacrifice.
I like it.
Yeah, he's perfectly on board with it. And I was kind of expecting him at that point after the first, to go, wait, no, dude.
No, that's just not the kind of punchline that they would do. They would just have him either not understand it or be totally down for it.
This is either a wait what or a yeah, definitely.
This show doesn't really do the wait what when it can do the yeah, definitely, because the sense of humor seems to lean more toward the latter. Dude, Stan making Waddles wave with his little pig hand. That was so cute. I love that.
That was really cute.
I will always love that.
Waddles is just so damn adorable.
He's giving Toto.
Yes, he's absolutely giving Toto.
If you watch The Wizard of Oz, like, first of all, there's the scene at the end where Dorothy is leaving and she's making Toto wave goodbye to everybody with his little paw. During Somewhere Over the Rainbow, he had a cue to, like, shake Dorothy's hand or something, do something with his paw, and you can see him, like, keep lifting his paw a little bit and then putting it back down because it's not time yet. He keeps thinking it's his cue to, like, do the movement with his paw. And then when they meet the Cowardly Lion and Dorothy is holding him, he just kind of puts his paw on the Cowardly Lion's arm and just, like, kind of sticks it there.
Aww. It's so cute.
It is so cute.
To see the dog doing dog things. Why would Stan ever have this kind of, it's not a grudge, but this kind of petty little, he's just the pet pig, how annoying kind of thing against Waddles?
He's a fat, naked jerk.
Because he's Waddles. He's so cute. How could you not love him?
Because he ate the corn.
A unicorn made out of corn. The corn.
True.
That's
but
unforgivable.
Stan shouldn't have had Waddles and the corn in the same room.
That's true, but Stan will never...
Or the corn shouldn't have been made of corn.
Stan would never cop to that, though. He would never say, oh, well, I only have myself to blame. He'd say, no, it's the pig's fault.
By the way, the geyser that they all take to get back to the surface, it was the second thing in the episode that kind of reminded me of Finding Nemo.
Oh, that's true. What was the first thing?
McGucket getting swallowed by the pterodactyl, and then him coming back up and being like, I'm okay.
I ate my way through a dinosaur.
It made me think that he actually didn't reach the stomach of the pterodactyl. He just kind of got stuck in its throat, which Marlin and Dory kind of wedged themselves in this pelican's throat.
Yeah.
I didn't come this far to eat breakfast.
Or the pterodactyl was carrying him around like a pelican.
But would the pterodactyl have anything like a pelican to hold something like McGucket?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe McGucket just scrunched himself up really small.
We've established that McGucket either is a Christian or is God, so is therefore able to take any form that he likes.
Yeah, I think he's God. For purposes of this podcast, he's God.
I mean, he's an inventor.
He invented the universe.
He made the Gobblewonker. He invented the universe.
He invented us.
So fixing lanterns that Seuss happens to break is like petty work for him.
Oh my God. He orchestrated it so that they would get into this situation so that they would all have to work out their differences and forgive each other because he works in such mysterious ways. And they don't even realize that he did that.
McGucket's been spying on them. He's omniscient.
He is. It just doesn't come up a whole lot. They actually all know that. It just doesn't come up in conversation.
Oh, that old man McGucket. He's watching you.
He sees you when you're sleeping.
He knows when you're awake.
He knows if you have killed a man and thrown him in the lake.
Is that a reference to another Gravity Falls episode?
No. Unless I'm forgetting something.
That sounds like something old man McGucket would do. Or is that something Stan has maybe done that we don't know about yet?
They did that together and they vowed never to speak of it again, and that's why Stan didn't want him to come along on this adventure. One
of the friends I've known in the duck fandom for a long time.
That makes it sound like you're just a fan of ducks the animal.
I mean, I am, but I'm specifically talking about Disney ducks. You know Georgia Rose, right?
No.
She's an artist. She's on Instagram and other places. She has kind of pivoted a little bit to Gravity Falls, and she has fallen hard for, apparently there's a ship that ships Stan and McGucket. And so briefly, I would like to just know your thoughts on that. What do you think of the ship between Stan and McGucket?
That is something I cannot go into detail on at this time.
Have I inadvertently revealed?
You haven't
points
revealed anything major that happens in the plot, or really anything that happens in the plot. It's more the fandom, and certain things are going to happen that's going to affect the fandom's perception of all of these characters. So once those things have happened, we can discuss ships and shipping and who's fucking who, other than the cops who are obviously fucking each other. We know that. That's not a spoiler. That's their deal.
Who's zooming who? The cops are zooming each other.
Zooming?
I don't know. It's an Aretha Franklin song. I don't know.
Huh. I'm learning a lot of colloquialisms today.
Seuss broke a church.
He did.
Can we talk about that?
He sure did.
Is it McGucket's church, really? Or is it just some random church that he happened upon and just sort of claimed as his own?
Well, I think either way it's his. Nobody else was using it.
Just sitting there in the woods.
Just sitting there.
Which makes me wonder, what denomination of any religion, really, previously occupied that church before it was abandoned? It looks very Christian, but I don't think that really has an effect on what denomination of religion could have occupied it before.
Baptist.
It does look very Baptist.
I feel like most churches I drive past that look like that are Baptist churches, but I could be remembering
I have a church in town that sort of looks like that, and it's a United Methodist.
Oh, it could be Methodist. I guarantee when I leave tomorrow, I will drive past like 5 of them, so I will try to make note of what denomination they are. When Stan gets the sap all over his hand and tries to like jokingly stick it on Mabel's face and then it won't come off and they both scream. That is such a perfect cut to like they don't get to finish screaming. It's just
Gotcha! Uh-oh.
in a show with like much darker humor, like if it was Robot Chicken or something, I feel like it would cut to just they're both dead. I don't know how Stan would die in this scenario when he's perfectly fine. He's just...
I don't think it would be them necessarily dead. I think we just see them standing there with Stan would have his hand cut off and Mabel would have her entire head cut off, and they would
so Mabel
just still
would
be going
dead.
About life like nothing ever happened.
She's just walking around like a decapitated chicken.
Yeah,
a decapitated robot chicken.
She holds up signs in order to communicate.
Okay, well,
and Stan's just like, "Hey, shake my hand," and holds out his stub.
Oh God. The end credits tag. They're playing poker, and Waddles is bluffing, we confirm, but Stan had 4 aces. I've never played poker, but what could possibly beat 4 aces?
Not much.
So does Stan also not know how to play poker, and that's why he folded?
I think Waddles is the only person there that knows how to play poker.
He knows the secret third thing.
And he can only oink, so he can't really call them on their BS. So he's just like, okay, I'm here. I'm along for
I'm
the
just
ride.
gonna make a noise and see what happens.
I think I could be Waddles in poker, though. By the way, Bobby Renzabi, I just can't get that name out of my head.
So that was the crew's nickname for Rob Renzetti. I forgot what his actual title was on the show, but he created My Life as a Teenage Robot. He was kind of their elder on the show because everybody was like in their 20s. They were like our age making this, which really fucks me up.
Which is crazy to me. I saw Matt Danner of Amphibia?
Are you thinking of Matt Brawley?
No, wait. No, Matt Danner from Muppet Babies. Yeah. I saw him in the credits. I'm like, oh, he worked on this too.
You're going to see a lot of people who worked on later Disney shows in the credits here. Like the guy who show ran the Tangled series and then decided to be a shill for Daily Wire. He's in a few episodes in the credits. I don't remember what he did. I think he was a board artist. The creators of Big City Greens are in there. The creator of Amphibia, obviously Dana Terrace, who created the Owl House, she's in there. All kinds of colorful characters.
Going back to Bobby Renzabi, they chose that name not only as an homage to one of their elders on the crew, but also because they couldn't name the TV telemarketer Millie Bays.
I definitely
or Santhony Jullivan.
Yeah, well, and Anthony Sullivan was never really on the same level as Billy Mays. He was just also there. I definitely remember being like, oh, that's a riff on Billy Mays, but the name, not really. I didn't really get the name, but I thought it was funny.
By the way, what do you think of, I forgot the name of the product he's selling in the end credits.
Arm pants, the pants that you wear on your arms.
The pants you wear on your arms, yeah.
I think they would be hard to move around in. And I think you just wear sleeves. Wear something with long sleeves or a jacket.
My big issue is I don't think you could even qualify them as pants because in order to fit your head,
you said you have to fit your head.
The pants would have to have a hole in the crotch. So that would instantly declassify the pants as pants, and instead they would have to be called chaps.
See, I was picturing them as pant legs that you just stick on your arms and you just kind of have to go like this all day. You don't put anything over your head. You just stick your arms in there.
Like Wallace and Gromit. The robot that dresses Wallace puts his sleeves on first, and then the rest of his shirt just happens to be part of the vest that then gets thrown over top of him.
See, I was thinking it's just kind of a bunch of fabric bunched up across your chest, and your arms are just kind of stuck like that. My arms are just fucking stuck like this. This ain't normal. Fuck! What do I do? Now I gotta walk like a douche for the rest of my life. Now I gotta walk like a douche for the rest of my life.
This is the Into the Falls AJ stares at Mary because he doesn't know what's going on moment.
It's this account on TikTok that makes like AI songs made to sound like they're from the 60s, but the lyrics are the most like inane shit you've ever heard.
Okay, I've heard a few of those actually. I haven't heard that
one. Of my favorites is Piss Off, I'm throwing whole loaves of bread at ducks. It's just about an old man who's pissed off about his life, and so he sits on a bench and he just throws bread into it and salts the ducks.
That's so funny. Before we wrap up here, I think we all either need to give our best regards to Seuss or just help him to be a little less clumsy. He could stand to do that a little bit, even though he and Dipper are on good terms again.
He has to go to a support group for people who are tripping, stumbling, clumsy cause I killed the fairy. Clumsy cause I'm homophobic. All right, well, if you got nothing else,
don't say that too much. We're actually gonna have people coming after us for thinking that we think Seuss is homophobic.
Oh, they should know that it's sarcasm. They can take it.
If we can't even tell between each other's sarcasm, what makes you think the Gravity Falls fandom is going to be any better?
Because we kept laughing.
Okay.
I think that counts. I'm going to look up the code from this episode.
Are we still doing the numbers thing? Because there was numbers on
Okay, well, I think that's your answer, AJ.
It's midnight when we're recording this.
For you.
I think my brain is fried. Oh, yeah, it's 1:30 where you're at. We both need to go to bed.
I meant to leave earlier. But I took
all right.
I had a half day at work and then I took a very long nap. Okay, well, first of all, there's an extra code in this one during the actual episode. Did you catch that?
Was it the phone number on Gideon's signboard? Because I definitely noticed that.
No, what was the phone number there?
I don't remember. All I remember is Gideon's stupid face.
I thought you said that because the number like alluded to something weird. But you'll notice when Stan has his shirt off, he has some kind of mark on his back shoulder. And we have never seen that in its entirety. It's some kind of symbol that we don't know what it means, but they change it for that fantasy sequence so that we couldn't get the full symbol. From top to bottom, it's OLHV, which decodes to the word lies.
Because Stan was in the middle of a blatant lie.
He was. And then the cryptogram is 9, 20, 23, 15, 18, 11, 19, 6, 15, 18, 16, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 7, 19. Once decoded, it reads, say it with me, AJ, it works for me! Well, I can't talk anymore, so I think that's a good place to stop.
If we ever make merch out of this podcast, we gotta put that on a t-shirt.
It's gotta be a picture of Pennywise sitting at the receptionist desk at a police station.
Nah, you know what we need to do? We need to create matching sweaters.
We do.
They both say it works. It works for
Yeah,
pigs.
and they both have pictures of Pennywise doing some kind of menial job at a police station.
If you want the one with Mabel and Waddles on it, it's going to cost you $10 extra. We got to make those separate.
And you have to prove to us that you have a pet pig. We won't make this for your dog.
We need your pet pig's photo ID card because they actually issue those out here in Texas. So if you just mail that to us at thefallscast@gmail.com, we may or may not return it, but we'll definitely know if you have a pet pig.
We'll definitely have that to look back on.
I am lying about that. They don't do that in Texas.
Okay, I was gonna.
To my knowledge,
I'm going to Houston over Christmas to surprise my sister. I was gonna try to track down a pig with an ID card. Okay, we're coming down to the wire here. The next episode is called Dreamscaperers.
That's instantly throwing like many different pictures in my head. It reminded me of the Marvel Cinematic Universe for some reason, but then I'm like, oh, Kingdom Hearts had a game all about dreams. Is it going to be anything like that?
I haven't played Kingdom Hearts, so I don't know.
You should play Kingdom Hearts. Are we going to venture into other people's dreams? Maybe something is attacking Stan in his dreams, and Dipper and Mabel have to go inside and save him? Or there's something punching Stan in the face because he punched a pterodactyl in the face in this episode. And so Mabel and Dipper have to go into his dream and punch the dream attacker in its face.
You've got a whole fucking 3-act structure for this episode.
It all comes back around. It all comes back around to punching people in the face.
He loves to punch things in the face. He didn't get to punch a teenager in the face last time, even though he really wanted to, but he did punch a pterodactyl in the face. It was an adult pterodactyl, though, because it had a child. Unless it was a teen mom.
I don't think we've got enough time to delve into the teen pterodactyl mom reality show that MTV hasn't picked up yet. Yet. Because we all know it's going to happen.
That's our next project. We're going to go pitch that.
Yeah. Wait, would we pitch it to MTV or would we pitch it to TLC?
Oh, that's a good question.
Find out next time, whichever network gets our Teen Pterodactyl Mom television show on Into the Falls.
We pitch it to Max.
No, we pitch it to Tubi.
Yes.
Put it on X and be like, whoever wants it, you can have it.
This has been Into the Falls. You can find me at Mabel Page Pines on Twitter and Instagram. That's Mabel, P-A-G-E Pines. I'm also May Page on YouTube and Film Knife on Medium and WordPress. That's where I post my film reviews and essays, editorials, etc. You can follow the show on Twitter at The Falls Cast, all one word, and Into the Falls Podcast on YouTube. And I will hand it off to AJ.
This podcast is hosted and produced by Mary McKeon and AJ Sanchez, and our theme song and some of the music is by Kevin MacLeod. Oh, and follow me on Instagram. And I make YouTube videos sometimes. Unca AJ. Thanks so much for listening, and until next time, trust no one!
I don't know why, but whenever I get In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins stuck in my head, my instinct is to sing it like, even though Phil Collins sounds absolutely nothing like that.
He sounds nothing like
I don't know why I revert
Scott
to
Stapp.
like Daughtry, Nickelback,
Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam. What? You don't sing the song like do 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 do.
I do, but then I immediately go into not Chad Kroeger.